Good morning, everyone. I'm really pleased to be here in Greece. I'm from Spain. I'm based in Madrid, but I'm basically covering the Western European region. I work for a long time in banking, so I was in the other side before joining the vendor side, you know. And I will spend just a few minutes here, not 2 minute slides, but to give you some small and clear messages, because we are speaking now about the digital transformation, about customer experience, about what is the digital journey of the customers. But most of you maybe have found real problems, how to transform. How are the steps? How start? How follow? And how to get the target? Okay. Banking, together with communications industry, is the facilitator, is the multiplicator of the digital transformation of a country, of a society. So the best we can transform the banking industry, the best we can transform the pillars of the society is the better and the faster we can evolve the digital transformation of a whole country. This is briefly the journey of the customer experience of the bank's customers around the globe, basically. Okay, so there are several waves of transformation, digital banking, 1.0 to 4.0, starting with e-banking, then moving to multi-channel integration, just have some integration between the different channels, then moving to the omni-channel experience, similar experience across the channel of the bankings, and finally the actual era, which is the banking of internet banking, of internet of everything. Everything is actually connected. But banking now has a number of challenges, especially here in Europe. We have a very strong regulation. We have a very, complex economic situation with a very low rates interest for a long time period. And also we have a very fierce competence coming mainly from third party outside the industry, like internet companies, fintechs, etc. So with this, scenario, which the environment is complex.
That's a little bit scary, though, right? As far as I see that, it's a little bit scary that you have to do all that stuff.
The challenges are big, okay?
Yeah.
But I believe that at the same time, it's a big opportunity, to change and innovate, as the title of the presentation, from the core. Because the innovation should come not only, from the technology part, changing, systems, platforms, experiences.
But also have to change the structure and the people, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe the structure of the people, or maybe the business strategy. Traditionally, the financial industry, the banking, is very, very focused to products, to the products that the banks want to promote, to sell to customers.
So maybe now you have to focus on the experience of the clients.
Of the customers.
Of the customers, okay.
So it could be more changed from product focus to customer centric. Should be basically the journey, okay? So for that, they have 3 basic pillars to work on. Reshape IT, so the platform transformation, the IT should be updated, upgraded, should become more open, more flexible. So platform shouldn't be a limit for the change. The mission of companies like Huawei and other vendors that are here is to make the business not to think about the platform limit. The platform, the technology shouldn't be a limit for that, okay? Reshape the data management. The data are the real goal from the banks. All the information that the banks have about the customers is a real value that needs to be explored and need to be promoted. And then reshape the customer experience, of course. And you know, two quite famous sentences. Banking is not somewhere you go, but something you do. Is something that this is very, very clear. Nowadays, the banks is not anymore a physical place. Is a service. It's something that is everywhere. Is at your fingertips in your mobile, for example. And the other, banking is necessary while banks are not. And this is quite clear. If with the first competent, with the internet companies, fintechs, we need to create a financial ecosystem, okay, to work together. And as I said before, innovation comes from the core. So for that, the banks should build a finance ecosystem. Nowadays, I would say there are two main critical things in the life of everyone. One is, of course, the finance, because the finance allow you to do, you know, your personal life, your travel, your leisure, your health, everything, okay? And the other thing is your communication, your social network, how you relation with the rest of the...
It's a different world. That's
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Especially for the banks as well, besides ourselves. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if the banks are able to expand the initial cycle is based on financial services, just traditional products, deposits, loans, payments, and open to more, you know, wide ecosystem, the bank could become into a platform for the customers that can manage from the bank platform the essential parts of the life, like your health, your travel, your leisure, etc. And the banks knows how is your behavior in these fields, because they have your data. They know how you spend your money, so they know how to manage this. If the data has properly treated, properly managed, the bank had this opportunity to manage this kind of services. So two main pillars. The first one is to transform the focus of the bank from products to customer-centric, and the other, transform the technology platform from closed to open. No more, let's say, vendor lock-in. No more closed platform. No more unflexible infrastructures. So you need to unleash the platform to allow the business make the transformation. So for that, some basic technologies, mobile, distributed, big data, cloud, service-oriented. Then the banks need to improve, as I said, some IT abilities for the digital transformation. Of course, open architectures, software-defined platforms, the infrastructure, the hardware will become into a commodity. The services will be managed by software, basically. Open platforms, so you need to build an open API ecosystem to connect with the rest of the financial actors like fintechs, like niche companies that provide some financial services, and of course allow the fintechs deployment in your ecosystem, not only because they can provide better service for your customers, but also because they can provide you some incomes, because you can connect with these kind of providers and monetize your data, and for sure, a lot of companies, a lot of fintechs are very interested in connect with you to explore the possibilities you have within your customer databases. And this is the typical ecosystem that the banks should think in building. So the banks have the traditional services, they have the customer, they have the knowledge of the customers, they have the database of the customers, and the basic operations, back office, middle office, and front office. And then we have a different niche of services, different pillars of services that can be offered by third party, by fintechs in this case. For example, the computing, big data, artificial intelligence, which is a niche of services. Another is peer-to-peer in the payment industry, open banking or mobility, and then cloud, cybersecurity or blockchain functionalities. And at the other side of the picture is, of course, the customers, okay? The consumer.
You said all the hyped words in one sentence. Blockchain, AI, everything.
Yeah.
But that's the things that's going on right now. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I believe that, of course, this is something that is different speeds or different rhythms of implementation in different banks. There are some, companies or even countries that are more advanced in terms of digital transformation, because sometimes these banks, for example, Chinese banks, where our company provides, they are digital native, so they didn't need to transform. They born digital. This is much more easy.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a very good advantage, okay? But in this case, for the traditional banking, for the European banking, American banking, they need to transform. And for that, it's very, very important to make it step by step. It's better to fail fast than wait for a whole transformation. If you need to fail, fail fast, but move it, okay? This is very, very important. In this way, in this sense, I believe it's very important to know that we need to cope with reality. We are speaking about digital transformation, about digital world, digital experiences, but the reality of most of the banks that they have a lot of legacy platforms. They have a lot of legacy infrastructure, and even, how to say, that legacy people, okay, that don't like transform, and they are very traditional. So for that, of course, the banks need to build some bridges between the traditional cores and the digital new core. Both will remain for a long time, believe me. It's very difficult to remove in a short period of time the traditional legacy platforms that the bank have for a long time, for years and years. That means that, of course, the customers are changing. The products are evolving. So we can build a new digital core for this new type of customer needs, for this new type of applications. But of course, the traditional core will remain. And for that, we need to build a common layer, which is the data layer. It's very important that the data can be moved into a big data lakes as soon as possible. Then we can build a layer with the digital services, which is the front-end part of the bank. But in the middle, we need to coexist with both digital core and traditional core, okay? And we need to build these bridges. Otherwise, the transformation will be very, very slow and will take a lot of time. So for that, this new digital core, this new digital banking will grow with the time, because the applications will be more and more digital, and this legacy platform will becoming lighter and lighter in the future, because the legacy applications will be less important in the bank with the pass of the time. So basically, we need to build what we call hybrid core. These connections needs to be built for the digital transformation. And finally, just to give you a glance of, about how Huawei is collaborating in the industry. Maybe we are not so known for most of you. We identify Huawei with, maybe smartphones, maybe with
the networks more, perhaps.
networks, okay. but we work with more than 300 finance institutions across the globe.
300?
300. 6 of the top 10 banks in the world work with us. And basically, we move into the different levels of the transformation, and we promote the evolution from product to solution. Of course, we came from the infrastructure business.
And the devices business as well.
Course,
so you have
business.
you know the hardware at least, but I think you also know the software.
We are, ICT providers. So we provide, the infrastructure thing, storage, networking products, these kind of things. But also we are building all the, solution layer. And for that, we believe that the best way is to build an open ecosystem. So we work with an open ecosystem of partners to implement the end-to-end project for digital transformation. From the Smart Future, which is our fundamental research, we have half of our staff is working R&D, so it's a very important data. So we are almost 200,000 employees, and half of these employees are working in R&D, okay, investigating. We provide also smart architecture transformations from the business continuity, high-performance platform, and cloud services, and also the smart decision-making through big data platforms. And of course, the smart experience through omni-channel, mobile banking, and the transformation of the branches, because branches, okay, is not the maybe a strategic channel of the banks, but will remain for a while, and this branch should be as digital as possible. And that's all. I believe I'm...
Yeah, you've run out of...
Yeah.
You've run out of time, but
okay.
It was interesting. So thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.